Yeah, good morning, Las Vegas. 10 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. It is a Tuesday, the 28th day of July. 72 degrees is your current temperature out there, 57% humidity. Mark Size here on the early morning program. Glad to be along with you. Glad that you have the time to spend with us on a Tuesday morning as we go through the Bible cover to cover. Now, if you're local here in Las Vegas and maybe you saw a bunch of people passing through on foot yesterday afternoon, like Bono called me and says, "What is going on?" Well, Christian Center is having a teenage week, I don't know, boot camp, I think is what he calls it. Anyway, Pastor Ray Ruby and had all the youngsters sleeping over here at Cornerstone Church last night. So they're getting ready to go out up into wherever the cabins, the area, wherever he has them scheduled. And they're going to have a great time. Keep them in prayer. All right? So that's something else that's going on and still a little distracting. Let me give you a little programming note. We still do not have our computers linked. We have been working on our computer system, updating it, making the connections properly, and I couldn't connect it. I usually can do the little connecting part. I couldn't do it yesterday, couldn't do it this morning, so until Sir Lancelot comes in riding on his trusty steed and probably just turning one little button. You know how that works. At least we're on the air and at least we're on Facebook and YouTube because I know we are on YouTube because we have Andrea, we have Anthony, we have Jeff, we have Jennifer, we have Dana that are with us. And I wish somebody on Facebook would chime in just so that I know that Facebook is working because that was even a little wonky this morning on the Facebook site. But let's get into our message today because we started already. Okay? And we might cut off a little early this morning. That all depends if something changes, especially on the programming side for KLY, and I might need a few extra minutes to get ready for at least the morning hours. But we are in the book of Numbers. We are in the middle of a very, very telling story about Balak and Balaam. Okay? The story is, I don't know, I'm hearing a buzz. I don't know if anybody hears that buzz or not, but I'm hearing a buzz. And I don't like buzzes when it comes down to bees. If the bees are going to buzz, well, that's one thing. But if I got buzzing on my sound, it doesn't. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? That's where it's coming from. Just in case you could hear it on your side. So here's where we're at. We have the people of Israel in Moab. Balak has called Balaam from far away to curse, and that's what we've been through for at least the last 4 sessions, and we have probably maybe 2 more sessions left. I'm not sure how many sessions we're going to have, but there's a lot for us. Now, who is Balaam? Balaam is the prophet for profit. Balaam is a false prophet. You have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Kathleen. You have to realize that Jesus warned us about false prophets, and so did much of the New Testament come up with that warning to his people. Good morning, Robin. To the church more than just a couple of times. Careful with Balaam is that false prophet. Balaam is that figure that we even hear about, at least in spirit, the spirit of Balaam in the book of Revelation. Okay, now, we're not going to go to book of Revelation yet because there's a point there that really will nail down something, and I believe it's in the next chapter for us all to hear, to see, to understand. Okay. But Balaam is a false prophet. Now, here's something that's interesting about Balaam. He knows Yahweh. He uses the redemptive name of God in the Old Testament, the name that I believe that was revealed to Moses at the burning bush. Oh, yeah, we are on Facebook. Thank you, Mr. Gentry and Miss Yeaman. Thank you very much. Now, Balaam is playing both sides. He knows Yahweh. He uses the name Yahweh. That's the name that God revealed himself to Moses at the burning bush. I'm pretty sure that's the first time that the name came up. And it was given to God's covenant people who were in Egypt. And God brought them under his name Yahweh out of Egypt, through the Red Sea, through the initial part of the wilderness, at Mount Sinai, and they still know him as, but Balaam knows him as Yahweh also, and he's way up north above where Canaan land is, before the promised land that they have not entered in yet. But he's like in Syria, Lebanon area, if you're familiar with your map. And he's come all the way down at Balaam's request to curse under the guise of, let's get you some bucks in your pocket. Let's see if we can send some money over to your Cash App and get you all situated, and you just come and you do your Shundai thing. But let me tell you about the false prophets that we are discovering here. And yesterday when I even talked about it, I didn't expect to talk about it, but it came out anyway. There are false prophets who play the both sides of the spectrum. And that's why Balaam is so dangerous, because Balaam can wear the collar. Balaam can have a congregation. Balaam can have all of the accoutrements that we see of a real minister, but he plays both sides. Balaam is playing both sides. He is playing the side of darkness and the side of light at the same time. And there are possibilities that is what Jesus was warning us of. Because when we think of false prophets many times, we think of some person that, that's way out there someplace, and, not that Balaam wasn't out there someplace, but we don't see these people many times, Oh, well, he talks about Jesus. Oh, well, he talks about the Bible. Well, he talks about, yeah, Balaam did. In his own regard, he did. But he also was able to hobnob with the idol worshipers of his time and talk their language also, and probably prophesy to them. And that's why Balak invited him to come and to curse Israel. Wasn't there anybody in Moab or in Edom or in the land of the Amorites who, I guess not, were calling in the big guns? So, let's go to our scriptures this morning. Thank you, Flo. Let's go over to our scriptures this morning, and let's see what his third oracle is about. Because he's been building altars, he's been oxen and cattle and sheep. He's been offering up to whoever, it seems like every mountain that he goes to, it's a different god. Watch what it says in the first verse of chapter 24 that I finally have up on the screen if you're following along with us on Facebook or YouTube. I want you to look at this, because this proves a point. Okay? And when I read it yesterday again, I said, dang, I kind of skipped over that one before, and I've been looking for proof of what we've been saying, and there it is. Now when Balaam, verse 1, chapter 24, when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he did not go as at other times to seek to use sorcery, but he set his face toward the wilderness. Now, let's make sure that we're just not getting one translation and it's a mistranslated type of a deal. Let's look at let's look at a couple of different translations. Okay, the Message Bible. Okay, well that's not. Well, we'll take it for what it is. It says the same thing. So he did not work in any sorcery as he had done earlier. The Amplified Bible, okay, if you really want to get down to definitions and shades of meanings of words, the Amplified is a good thing to have as you're reading the Bible. Maybe, well, your translation, your English translation of the Bible, don't get me started into translations and trying to give us some stuff about. Anyway, when Balaam saw, Amplified Bible, verse 1, chapter 24, when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he did not go as he had done each time before, superstitially to seek omens and signs in the natural world, but he set his face toward the wilderness. Now, you can say, wow, it says superstitially in brackets, okay? And that's good. That's a good observation. Okay? But to seek omens and signs is not in brackets. So we've seen a couple of translations, the New King James and a newer translation called the Message that talks about sorcery. And here in the Amplified Bible, it talks about omens and signs and the superstition that Balaam used to, or at least he brought to the table, okay, that was ineffective. And we've seen this. And if you watch yesterday's program or you watch any of our previous 3-4 programs where we start talking about Balaam, which is, I believe, chapter 22 or so, you'll see how he keeps, he comes, they sacrifice. He goes up to a hill and they put out altars. He goes up to a higher hill. Then he goes up to a higher hill, and he keeps going up. And and every time he's looking at his payday. But God has already really warned him on the way over. God warned him big time, and he's in a way he heeded the warning, but he still tried to use his witchcraft. He still tried to use his curses. Now it says, when Balaam saw that it pleased Yahweh, there it is, Lord, all caps, New King James Bible means YHWH, the tetragrammaton, okay? He did not go as at other times to seek or to use sorcery. So this tells me that every other time that he has come up to a high place, he wasn't sacrificing to Yahweh. In fact, he was using, and this is very prominent. You can use the name of the God of the Bible, whether it's Old or New Testament. You can say Jesus, you can say Yeshua, you can say glory, you can say grace, you can say mercy, but really, it's not the same Yeshua. In fact, I just thought of something, and somebody might bring this up. One of my Bible scholars that's on YouTube or Facebook, doesn't the epistle say, if anyone preaches to you another Jesus? You get it? If anyone preaches to you, so they could use the name of Jesus, and you say, well, I believe in Jesus. I'm born again. I have the keys to the kingdom. I'm walking up the steps to the fullness of the kingdom of God and waiting for the 1,000-year reign to come, and I want to rule and reign with him. That's why I'm letting the kingdom come now and his will to be done in my life now and making him Lord so I don't hear the words, I don't know you. Are you with me this morning? Is it the same Jesus? Is it the same Yahweh? just something that I thought I'd bring up for you this morning. And I think somebody's internet connection is a little slow because I don't have, if I don't do it now, let's see if we can do this. Let's see if I'm correct or not. Is it another Jesus or another gospel now that I'm thinking of them? Let's see. Oh my God, you're kidding me. It's in the Bible? It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. For if he who comes preaches another Jesus, hello, I'm going to nail that one down, brother. I'm not going to say maybe. I'm not going to say check it out for yourself. I'm going to say, are there false prophets that are preaching another Jesus? Just like 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. Check out the context, throw your tomatoes, let's get everything set up properly. But let's play a song to get us to the bottom of the hour, and we'll let you stew on that for just a little while. This is Elvis Presley singing The Old Rugged Cross.
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. How I love that old cross, where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. Oh, that old rugged cross, so despised by the world, as a wondrous attraction for me. For the dear Lamb of God left His glory above to bear it to dark Calvary. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. it someday for a crown.
30 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock, let's get into a quick weather report for our Las Vegas and San Miguel listeners. Let's see, looking for a high today of 91 degrees with mostly sunny skies, south wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Right now, they're showing a 40% chance of precip in the afternoon. It was 50% earlier, so it's down to 40. Tomorrow, it's a 50% chance with mostly sunny skies, high near 92 degrees. Northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. And Friday, a 40% chance, mostly sunny, high near 91 degrees. And looking at the 7-day weather forecast, we have chances anywhere from 20 to 60% over the next 7 days. We're getting little sprinkles here, little sprinkles there. 68 degrees is your current temperature, but we got better things to be talking about, like 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. So let me bring that up for you this morning. See if we can do this right. That wasn't right. Hit. No, I do not. That's not the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. All right? I want to ruin your breakfast this early in the morning. Yes, Andrea. It says in that fourth verse of the 11th chapter, 2 Corinthians, talking about another Jesus. I believe there's another place that talks about another gospel. I could be wrong on that. I could be combining the two. But come on now. Look at Andrea put on her comments, and she pulls out a phrase out of that verse. You may well put up with it. You may have well. And that is what's going on, that Balaam in his world, he's playing both sides. And this is a revelation of what Jesus warned us about when he talked about, good morning, Cindy, when he talked about false prophets. They like playing both sides. They can talk, and they can use the Christianese, and they can drive up in their bus with all the neon lights on them and come out looking like Elvis Presley, baby. You say, "Whoa, the second coming," and it could be a false prophet. Discern. Discernment is one of the gifts that God has given unto his people, unto the church. Balaam has been using sorcery. That's what the Bible says. But he set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam raised his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to their tribes, and the Spirit of God came upon him. OMG. Why would the Spirit of God even come upon him? Well, there's a reason why. And there's a reason for everything. So Balaam finally gets up to a place where he can see all of the congregation of Israel. He finally opened up his eyes. God's been trying to get him to open up his eyes since the first time that the donkey went into the bar ditch. In fact, God didn't even want him to go to Moab. I'm pretty sure that's where we're at. Good morning, Mr. Doty. God didn't even want him to go to Moab. He went helter-skelter on his own. The funny guy said, okay, if you're going to do it my way, son. His eyes still weren't open. He gets to Moab, starts talking to Balak, and he starts using his eyes still weren't. Well, now it says that he raised his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to their tribes, and the Spirit of God came upon him. He goes up to the mountain, to probably another mountain, and he is able to see all the congregation and the tribes with Judah at this side, and Simeon on that side, and Dan at that side. You get everyone, every 3 tribes to the north, 3 tribes to the east, 3 tribes to the west, 3 tribes to the south, and in the middle is the tabernacle, the house of God. And you know what? You can see and still be blind. Why do you think the Bible says, he who has eyes to see, let him see what the Spirit is doing? And not just once does it say that. Balaam raised his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to their tribes, and the Spirit of God came upon him. Wake up, wake him up. Well, no, he's God's dealing with the dude, man. Then he took up his oracle and said, the utterance of Balaam, the son of Beor, the utterance of the man whose eyes are, in my Amplified, I amplify it all the time. In my bracket would be finally opened. Oh yeah, now you can see. Huh? You know, this is what I was thinking as I was going through this, you know. Now he goes up to another mountain. Now he begins to see things that he had been missing all of this time. He's still a false prophet. Okay? Don't invite him to your Wednesday service yet. Okay? Well, maybe we get him, and maybe we invite him. No, wait, before you do that. But the Spirit of God came upon him. And he took up his oracle and said, the utterance of Balaam, the son of Beor, the utterance of the man whose eyes are open, the utterance of him who hears the words of God, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes wide open. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. I've been trying to curse the most beautiful thing that God is doing upon the earth in my time. I've been trying to curse the church in the wilderness. It is called in the Old Testament the church in the wilderness. The called out ones. God had called out of Egypt into the wilderness so he could take them into the promised land. Oh my, look how beautiful they are. And I've been trying to curse them. I can see him taking off his gold chains with the crystals on the end of it. You know who these people are. They got gold chains on, and then they have these crystals, that some curandero gave them someplace down the line, okay? And then they get the chicken bones, and they're taking them out of his man purse that he's carrying there. He's taking his chicken bones out and said, well, man, these haven't gotten me no place. But now the Spirit of God and all the amulets and all the accoutrements of false worship, pulling them out of his bag, pulling them out of his pockets, taking them off of his neck. False prophet, man. Been using sorcery, the Bible says. He's been using omens. He's been trying to curse Israel, and God would not let him. And finally, his eyes are opened. Whew. And he sees them below. The tabernacle and probably the tabernacle had the fire on top of it. I thought he had seen it once already, but his eyes weren't opened. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. Like valleys that stretch out, like gardens by the riverside, like aloes planted by Yahweh, like cedar beside the waters. What is he saying? A fruitful people. I am looking down, finally. Can everybody say, finally, he's seen? And don't fall in love with him. Don't fall in love with Balaam. So, finally, he got born again. Finally, he got saved. Finally, man, oh, yeah, let's baptize. No. He's going to pick those amulets. He's going to pick up those chicken bones. He's going to pick up those golden chains with a crystal. And he's going to put them back in his bag and around his neck, and he's going to use them someplace else. I'll guarantee you that. Beware of false prophets. 24th chapter, or is it the 21st? But I think it's the 24th chapter of the book of Matthew. Jesus went out and departed from the temple. His disciples came up to show him the buildings of the temple. Jesus said to him, do you not see all these things? Do you not? The one stone shall not be left upon another, or shall be thrown down. He sat on the Mount of Olives. The disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us when these things will be. What will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Notice the question and what they're asking. And Jesus answered and said to them, take heed that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. Be careful. Watch out with false prophets. Let's go to take a chance and go to Luke chapter 21 and see what it says. Do you not see all these things? And he says, take heed that you not be deceived. For many will come in my name. Notice how Jesus starts off. He doesn't answer the question yet. He says, be careful with deception. Tell us when these things will be. 13th chapter of the book of Mark. Take heed that no one deceives you. Many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and will deceive many. He says, I'll answer the question, but let me warn you first. Let me warn you that there's before we talk about wars and rumors of wars, we need to tell you that do not be deceived. It is possible. Watch out with the Balaams of the world. Back to our chapter. Chapter 24 of the book of Numbers. Dana says this about Balaam in our comment section. He was a carnal prophet sitting on the fence. Yeah, I think it's nice. I think it would be a promotion to call him a carnal prophet. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. They stretch out like gardens by the riverside. Baby, they're in the middle of the wilderness, man. They're in the middle of Moab. Okay? But when he looks down below at God's people, he says, you are a fruitful people. You're like gardens by the riverside. Oh, no, we're not. We're not. Well, in God's eyes, you are, because all of a sudden the Spirit of God has come upon the false prophet, and he's preaching the Word of God. Like valleys you're like valleys that are stretched out in the wilderness. Yeah, he says, I see green grass. And I see God's sheep eating. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Like gardens by the riverside. Those who trust in the Lord, he says, what does it say in Psalm 1? Something about at the beginning, a man that trusts in the Lord is like a tree that's planted by the rivers. He says, you're like gardens by the riverside. You're not just a plant here and a plant there. The whole riverside is planted with gardens called Israel, called the church in the wilderness, the redeemed of the Lord. That's the church of the living God. That's who you and I should be today by faith and say, God, yes, greater you who is in us than he who is in the world. And the fruit of God, like aloe. We talk about the fruit of God all the time here at Cornerstone Church. Like aloes planted by Yahweh. Not sure what, aloe vera, I guess what he's talking about. Never planted it, don't know much about it, but I guess it was pretty nice, pretty beautiful, pretty great. Probably even put out a nice little flower. Like cedars beside the waters. The cedar was a strong, big, tall, thick, straight tree. And he says, you're like cedars beside the waters. He saw Israel as the planting of the Lord. Finally. Thank you, Andrea. Finally. Oh my gosh. Welcome to your world today. Be discerning of who you're listening to. I'm going to tell you that right now. He shall pour water from his buckets. His seed shall be in many waters. His king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. He's not talking about God. He's talking about God's covenant people. He says they're going to pour out water from buckets. Huh? And the seed of Israel shall be in many waters. What do I mean many waters? You ever irrigated before? We used to, Andrea knows all about this. We used to irrigate in Espanola all summer long. And there would be plants that would grow up, and you know you didn't plant them. The seed was in the ditch, and when it came in and settled down on your property, all of a sudden you had a plant that you didn't plant the seed, and it's starting to come up. He says his seed shall be in many waters, meaning it's going to extend, it's going to go out. His king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brings him out of Egypt. He has strength like a wild ox. He doesn't probably know it yet. I was listening to a teaching this morning about Gideon and how God comes to talk to Gideon. This one was by Jonathan Cahn. And God, the angel speaks things to Gideon, whose name then is Jerubbaal, and Jerubbaal looks at him like, "Who are you talking to, man? I think you got the wrong address." God brings him out of Egypt. He has strength like a wild ox. O Israel. He shall consume the nations, his enemies. He shall break their bones and pierce them with arrows. Finally, he's speaking the word of the Lord. Finally, he's prophesying and opening up the waters of salvation. But remember, he's a false prophet. There it is. Jeff has Psalm 1:3. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. That is the promise for God's covenant people, that you would be and a carnal Christian is not going to be planted by the rivers of blessings, but by faith we come in. He bows down. He lies down as a lion, and as a lion, and who shall roar? Anybody want to touch God's people? Anybody? Oh, and they're trying to touch God's people all the time. They have strength like a wild ox. They're going to consume the nations, his enemies. He shall break their bones and pierce them with arrows. No, but there's just, a couple of million people out over there, and they're kind of confused. They don't know if it wasn't the pillar and if it wasn't the shadow, the cloud, they wouldn't know. God's training them. Remember, we talked about warfare. We've been bringing it up, and now we're in the throes of spiritual warfare. Who's winning? Is Balak winning? Is Balaam winning? Whose will is being done here? Balaam's will? Balak's will? Or the God of Moses' deal? Is that his will that's being done? And he's prophesying. He says, listen. He bows down. He lies like a lion. Do you want to mess with Israel? You want to mess with Israel? One swipe of his paw and he'll take you out, brother. And as a lion, who shall rouse him? Who's gonna go wake him up? Blessed is he who blesses you, and cursed is he who curses you. Old Testament promise. Old Testament. You need to be careful with what you say about Israel, God's people, the sons of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, the 12 tribes. You have to watch out what you say about them. I have a person who is very near and dear in my life who used to say, and I don't think they even knew what they were saying, but the things that would come out of their mouth many times, multiple times a day, was dirty Jews. Dirty Jews, dirty Jews. Blessed is he who blesses you, and cursed is he who curses you. A lot of cursing going along these days, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be blessed? Bless Israel. Yeah, but wait a minute. Bless them sometimes by not saying anything. But we are protecting Israel. And let me tell you, as long, and you're going to hear this just not from me, from a lot of people, as long as the United States of America protects Israel, they have that blessing upon them, in spite of the many things that we are doing to the contrary. Multiple dozens, hundreds of things that we're doing to the contrary. But you see the attack against Israel. You see the attack against God's people, still a covenant people, not because they're perfect, not because they're strong, not because they were pretty, not because they were so smart. In fact, I think, as I said yesterday, it was to the contrary. God has chosen Israel. He says, here's what the apostle told the church. Look around you. Look around you. Not many wise, not many noble, not many of good birth. Look around you. That's whom God calls. He calls the leftovers, and he makes something out of them so that people will marvel and say, him? Her? No way. You're kidding me. Man, there must be a God in heaven if that's what's going on in their life. You get it? And for Israel, well, yeah, yeah. God is showing all the principalities and powers, not only on this earth, but in all the second and the third heaven, that he is king and he is Lord, and he can get a small little people. He can make something out of them to say he could get a small little person, and he may get something out of them and to bring them together with all the small persons, and he can display his glory, and the manifest glory of God becomes evident to all. Consider your calling. I think we have to go there. I think it's wise that we go there, even though we're not making a lot of traction. Consider your calling. Let's see if I get it right or not. Nope, that's not it. It's Hebrews 3:1. Let's see if I could go someplace. Not many noble. For you see your calling, brethren. There it is. 1 Corinthians. All right. The foolishness of God is wiser than men. The weakness of God is stronger than man. All of a sudden, Balaam is seen. The tribes down below and say, they're beautiful. Oh, but they fight with each other, and they point fingers at each other. Watch what I do, God says. It's no difference. For see your calling, brethren. Not many wise according to the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called, but God has chosen the foolish things of the world to put to shame the wise. God has chosen the weak things of the world to put to shame the things which are mighty, and the base things of the world, the things which are despised, God has chosen, and the things which are not, to bring to nothing the things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. So, sit up in your chair. Stop trying to hide your face and know that God has chosen the weak to confound the strong. And that's what Balaam sees. OMG. Look at them when they're all together. Look at them when they're in their place. Look at how beautiful they are. They're beautiful when they're all together in their place, you know. Anthony and I were talking about this yesterday. When we all come together, we get into and we do what God's called us to do, and we lock with each other instead of a knock with each other. Verse 10. Then Balak's anger was aroused against Balaam, and he struck his hands together, and Balak said to Balaam, I called you to curse my enemies, and look, you have bountifully blessed them these 3 times. Balak, I mean, he's really angry. Dude, I sent my limo for you. I sent my elders, and then I sent my princes, and I sent you with a good down payment and a contract to curse my enemies. Look, you have bountifully blessed them to these 3 times. These 3 times now, therefore, flee to your place. Get out on my side, dude. I said I would greatly honor you, but in fact, Yahweh has kept you back from honor. Honor, this word honor here is talking about remuneration. It's not that he's going to put a new robe on his shoulders, that he was going to, have some people carry him all the way back to Syria. No, he says, dude, I was going to pay you big time. I was going to give you a big old tip to go along with it. But Yahweh has kept you back from the bucks. And remember, we've learned already that was something that drove him. The money is what drove him. Let's get a song going over here. KLYN. Let's get Selah take us up to the top of the hour. Oh, no, we're not going to be finished with chapter 24 today. I don't think we are. We usually end about 10 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. This is Selah. When I survey the wondrous cross, sit up in your chairs. Put your shoulders back a little bit. Say, I'm a child of the King.
When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died, my richest gain I count but loss, and for contempt on all my pride. See from his head, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love mingle down. Did have such love and sorrow me, or thoughts compose so rich a crowd. The whole realm of nature mine, that were a present fire,
morning, Las Vegas. You're listening to KLYN 90.3 FM, Tuesday morning, 28th day of July. Mark Sides, your host here on the early morning program, playing air piano in the background for about 3 minutes. 73 degrees is your current temperature, humidity at 55%, 5-mile-an-hour breeze, northeastern direction. So, let's get some more verses in on this 24th chapter. Yes, Andrea, thank you. But you know what? Thank Mrs. Size, because ever since COVID, she sits me in the backyard and she says, take your glasses off. Now, therefore, verse 11, chapter 24, book of Numbers. Now, therefore, flee to your place. I said I would greatly honor you, but in fact, Yahweh. It's that Yahweh guy. If you would have stayed with Baal, and you're going to hear that name Baal pronounced one way or Baal another way, they're talking about a Middle Eastern false god, a demon, a fallen angel that is spelled Baal. That's why we say Baal or Baal, okay? So, same dude, okay? Same demon. Same liar. Balaam, man, he knew Baal and he knew Yahweh. Oh, baby. You know what? I mean, just what if this Yahweh thing doesn't work out? I can lean upon Baal and Ashtoreth, and you just never know. There's many ways. No, there's one way to the Father, is what the Bible says in the book of Acts. I believe it says there's one way to the Father, and it's through His Son. Jeffrey, bring that up for the people because they might need it today. Now, therefore, flee to your place. I said I would greatly honor you, but in fact, Yahweh has kept you back from honor. Balaam said to Balak, did I not also speak to your messengers who you sent to me, saying, if Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord to do good or bad of my own will, what the Lord Yahweh says that I must speak. I guess kudos to Balaam, okay, because he never said anything. But I mean, we went through the whole don't go, and then we went through the 3 escapades with the donkey, and then we went over there and God is still speaking to him and warning him, oh, don't you say anything except what I tell you. And here we are in the middle of his 3rd diatribe, and he's blessing them and say, man, look at them people before, all perfect in order, all perfect in their place with a tabernacle, and then around the tabernacle is the priesthood, and then around the priesthood is the Levites, and then all around him is all the 12 tribes. Man, that's like a watered garden. That's like a cedar planted, a forest of cedars. Yes, Joe. Flo. Yes, Flo. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, therefore, flee to your place. I would honor you. Yahweh has kept you back from honor. Balaam said, but did I not also speak to your messengers whom you sent to me, saying, if Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord. But I'll take it if he gives it to me. That's why I came for. Whoever pays me the highest. Baal was paying pretty good. Ashtoreth was paying pretty good. Zeus, if you're Greek, it would have been Zeus or Athena or son of, they pay pretty good too. So what you have to realize is the principalities and powers in this world were affecting the Greeks, the Romans, the Babylonians. Same principality, same princes. They just had their own names for them. Jeff says in John chapter 14, verse 6, Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to Father except through me. Not through Buddha, not through Joseph Smith, not through the JWs, not through Mohammed, not through whoever the latest and greatest is out over there. No crystals, no amulets, no chicken bones, no writings on the wall. Come on, people, come on. Where have we gone wrong? And now, verse 14, and now indeed I am going to my people. Come, I will advise you what these people will do to your people in the latter days. Balak, okay, big Balak, are you sure you don't got it? My purse is open, my man purse is open. If you want to kind of slip a check underneath it, you might just slip one anyway because it's been a long haul, and I know I didn't do what you wanted me to do. We're not finished yet, though. He said, if Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of Yahweh or to do good or bad in my own will. But I do not want to be on Yahweh's wrong side. So I'm sorry. But I don't want to be there. And now indeed I am going to my people. Come, I will advise you what this people will do to your people in the latter days. So when we get into verse 15 to the end of the chapter, Balaam, because the Spirit of God fell upon him, he's going to prophesy. See, God's, you say, well, but he's a false prophet, and God's going to use him to prophesy. Yeah, to Balak, Balak ain't going to hear, okay, your favorite internet preacher. He ain't going to hear the pastor of some big old mega church out and around some place. So he has to have Balaam speak to him and tell him, okay, well, he'll hear Balaam. Let's and Balaam is going to tell him, this is what's going to happen to you and yours. This is what's going to happen. Oh, and it ain't going to be pretty. But you know what? Let's just cover it tomorrow. Let's just put a bookmark on verse 15, chapter 24. Start there tomorrow. Then we get into chapter 25. I'm telling you, baby, I can't wait to get into the next chapter. But let's talk about crazy times with Jars of Clay, because that's the song that we're closing our program off today. Crazy Times by Jars of Clay. Ooh, this speaks.
You're cold that way, and that's why you say the things that you say.